we can't hear you.
There we
Yes.
go. Now you can
Okay.
hear me.
Thank you
Good
so much.
morning.
Good
Wow,
morning.
I just got to hear the end of that last presentation.
Hmm.
Don't know that I'm going to compete with that, but I'll give it a try. Mhm.
Please, thank you. Take it away. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Heidi Ruddock. I haven't probably met a lot of you. I'm new to this role here at Covenant House Academy. And I'm here to share today kind of some of the services that we have. And we're not a new, Covenant House is not a new agency, but the Academy is to them. And basically, our Academy is our employment and education services. That is an extension of Covenant House, Alaska. We are located next downtown on 7th and 7th Avenue at 705 A Street. And so we're right next to the shelter, but we serve the shelter and we serve the community wide. Right now, our focus is on 18 to 24-year-olds. In supportive education and employment. And we also have another branch of housing for folks that are either experiencing homeless now or on the verge of being homeless and need that support or transitioning out from other places. And so the Academy's only been around about for 2 years now. The first year was a building remodel of a building and putting together some programming. And so this last year we've been running programming, and I joined the program here back in October. And so I just wanted to share a little bit with our services. Our services that we currently are offering is we have staff that are ready, willing, and able to help folks get re-signed up for working on their high school diplomas and GED support. We sort of have case management that helps accommodate whatever version that looks best and fits their needs. We run training and workshops here that are individualized, and I'll go into those in just a minute a little bit more. We also have a couple internal internship programs that we partner with 9 Star, who's our WIOA funder that helps us fund those. And then we specifically have staff that work one-on-one in an internship operation. And we have one of them that's in our Covenant House Cafe, which is barista training. And the youth get to learn barista training, be trained by Kaladi, work with our staff, have the staff training that our onboarding staff, and we try and make it as real as possible as we can. And those can last up to 3 months. And so they're pretty exciting. The other one that we have is a maintenance support person where they learn light maintenance, plumbing, janitorial work, kind of the all-around facilities type direction. And then the third one that we, brand new one that we have that we don't have anybody in yet that we're working on is a hospitality track. And that will make sense when I get into explaining the hospitality training that we have in just a moment. Kind of the other things that we have that are supportive is pre-employment assistance, everything from we work on job resumes with the youth. We do proactive interviewing skills before them. We help them with follow-up letters and emails and the follow-up correspondence, and hopefully the job placement. And that takes us to our next group where we try and do as much employment retention support as we can, meeting the individual needs of the youth that enter our building. We also run a JAG program, which is Jobs for America's Graduates, which is just new to Alaska. We've only had it in Alaska since 2016. We had the first out of school program, and currently we now have a program that we support in Bethel at Bethel High School, which is an actual in-school program. And so the one that we have down here basically does a lot of career exploration activities, leadership skills, civics. We have youth in the building anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, just focusing on those things and hoping of getting them interested in what they might be interested in after high school. It also has a big focus on completing your GED and or your high school diploma and looking at further education in higher development in education or vocational training. And so that could take a whole hour to explain all of that. But essentially, we have staff that are trained in that model and participate on a statewide level with that. And we have youth that even get to participate, go back to Washington, D.C. And participate in that national program. In the mornings, we run, one of the things that I discovered immediately when I came here was that a lot of our youth that are on the more of the acute side of the setting that experience homelessness weren't quite ready for the job exploration and actual vocational opportunities. And so we have implemented a new reimagined independent living skills program that we walk the youth through and try and get to know them. They try and get to know us, build some rapport, really help them kind of explore what they might be interested in through that independent living skills. And so in the mornings we run the life skills program, and it has topics in it like getting and keeping a job, communications, conflict resolution, independent living skills, nutritional skills. There's some resiliency chapters in there, and then finally personal finance. And we essentially follow a model of trying to build competencies that that the youth can continue to build on as they enter the workforce and enter their own housing programs. And so a lot of our stuff is one-on-one support. We do some group activities when it's present, when there's opportunity to do that. The job exploration program, we were lucky enough to have some job simulators. And the ones that we currently have that we're developing programming on is we have a CDL one where they can practice driving on the computers, trucks and buses. And we have one that is as a cat excavator, and then dump truck ones. We have a marine one that they can practice learning how to drive a boat. And the one that gets the most activity right now is our flight simulators. We have volunteers that come in from the flying community and help run those and teach ground school and try and see if the youth might be interested in something of that nature. So that's pretty exciting. And then on top of all of that, some of the other activities that we have here is, I mentioned 9 Star earlier. We do partners for these internships. And one of the new one we're currently working on is a hospitality industry. One of the cool things we have in our building, if you haven't been on a tour, everybody's welcome to call me and come. We have a beautiful training kitchen that was developed that the hospitality industry was invited in, basically and the community partners, to help kind of develop something both that the community need and that we were hoping to get a lot of excitement around with the youth. And we struggled a little bit with that because the culinary arts is kind of hard. And so we're really in the moment trying to develop that track. And so one of the things that we're currently working on is we're with the national restaurant industry, and we're teaching their national certifications. And the first one that we're working on is Guest Services Gold. And that is we do that jointly with CHAR. And also the National Restaurant Association. And it starts with Guest Services Gold, which really is good for any job, how to work with the public and those conflict resolution skills, et cetera. And then we're putting together the building blocks also from the restaurant industry. They have ones for housekeeping, they have them for maintenance and property management. And they also have ones on how to run the breakfast bar. And so they're basically hands-on certificates that the youth can come and earn in person and or online when we support them in doing that. And all of our training is free here. Youth just need to come in and sign up. And right now we are focused on the 18 to 24. So those are kind of our parameters. We do on an off time during the days, we do have a minors program within Covenant House. We do provide some services to them, but a lot of them we provide them at that site. As not to be mixing unintentional or intentionally those two age populations, at least at the moment. Really our focus is, try to get, hit all the barriers, figure out what the barriers are and help address those. We do have other partners on site that help us with that. And the South Central Foundation is one of them. They provide mental health and support services there. We also have CITC on site that helps refer to their programs. And then Lastly, we have a transitional housing program upstairs that is run by CITC. And the exciting part about that one is that is actually their adult living, one of their adult sites where they have transitional living. And that's where we've developed this new hospitality track so that we have a front desk. So youth will be learning about how to run the front desk. They'll be interacting with the clients that are upstairs, addressing their needs, whatever their rooms may need. And as they move in and out, they're learning how to book people in and book people out like you would a hotel. How to generate bills, how to deal with customer service skills related around that. And then, and then also learning the housekeeping. And once the rooms are vacated and being there, learn the ability to do inventory, turn them over, and keep track of all of those things and correspond with our maintenance program and just really how to correspond center-wide. The other part of that piece is we have a beautiful training room that we do share with the community. And when we have those community events, they also will be learning some hospitality event planning skills to include catering in the kitchen. So it's, well, I shouldn't say catering, but being part of that catering process. They're not being chefs yet. We haven't got that far yet, but we do have a chef from UAA that comes in monthly and works on new nutritional and cooking skills with our youth. And so a lot of stuff we have is kind of a moving target. And finally, the last thing I was going to share, we also run job exploration camps, mini ones that are 2 days long. And typically what those look like is we invite a provider to come in and share the job exploration pieces. And in one case, we have 2 nurses that come and do job exploration within the healthcare industry for entry-level folks, kind of explaining that there's healthcare jobs everywhere, or lots of different positions you can have in healthcare, everywhere from front desk to working with blood to just working in a hospital in client-centered services. And then that one comes with a BLS certification at the end. The second day, they actually walk away with a certificate for basic life-saving support, which is basically a little bit higher than your CPR and first aid. And that one has been pretty successful in generating interest and having youth get those certifications. And so that's a newer one. We've ran it about 4 or 5 times now. So now we're working on trying to see if we can get them more interested in other certifications and actually maybe exploring some of those entry-level positions. And then we have other things. We have lots of guests that come in from the community to help with the financial aid, and we have bankers volunteers that come in, and a lot of our stuff is volunteer based. And what we're finding is it's really that just getting the exploration is where our population is at. We do have another project starting up that will be helping with the transitional youth coming out of Office of Children's Services and Division of Juvenile Justice. And what that will do is we'll have some specific targeted activities to help support those youth to prevent hope. It's a prevention grant to prevent homelessness and stuff. And that grant has really allowed us to really open our doors to say, you don't have to be homeless to come here. We can serve everybody and anybody, just 18 and over. And a lot of that population is, they all have different ideas of where they need to be. And so ultimately, our goal is really to get further into the education and employment as we build our program. And so right now we have a certain niche that we're directly working with, but we're always looking at expanding and really the more we can develop to share with the community, the more we'll be reaching out to let everybody know what we have going on here. So if anybody has lots of questions, I know I didn't give you much of a break.
You mentioned, Heidi, thank you so much. First of all, thank you. But you mentioned you were going to share something with us.
Do you mean paperwork, or were you, or do you mean that it was the hospitality internship?
Oh, share verbally.
Yes,
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and I do have a flyer that we can send. The official one hasn't come back, so I have one that's upside down and backwards because it's brand new and just came back from the printer. And the other 2 things that I did also forget, our other resources that we have here is Plinkett and Haida runs a tutoring program from 10 to 2 that pretty much we just need to anybody can make an appointment with. And that one can be minors because we have the ability to have one-on-one services with that one. And so that's from 10 to 2. And then we also have a partnership with DVR. And DVR it was on site for weekly, and what we've found, it's been better to just be able to contact them individually when our youth are ready to participate in their programming, the getting a job, keeping a job, and some of those employment skills. And so we've basically got them on speed dial right now, and they'll come individually to events and do training with our youth. And then the other really neat opportunity is we also help support enrollment in benefits. And South Central Foundation helps enroll youth into their SNAP benefits if they're eligible, or helps get them re-engaged with those again. So we really try and focus on upping their income, but we also try and make sure they're supported in what benefits they could use and utilize. And that's been a great process to have the middle case management to really support that, getting them signed up if that's what needed, and so that they can deal with mental health issues and crises and any medical and things like that they need. We also are able to there's an education and employment piece that we're able to support things like if they, need interview clothes, if they're, it pays for some of their training and vocational certifications. So we help foster that with the state of Alaska and get that moving.
Excellent.
Heidi, I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but do you guys do like work keys testing there? Do you provide that for any of your people?
We not currently, and I'll be very honest with everybody in the room. I came from a career in juvenile justice, and so I'm new to all this education and employment. So I certainly would love to join your group here to learn more about that. What exactly is that you're talking about?
Work keys is like think like ACT, SAT.
Oh, okay.
But then think more ASVAB.
Okay.
So
okay.
instead of just being like, hey, a bunch of math, English, read this and then define it questions, they do like, they'll give you business case scenarios or employer case scenarios, and then
okay.
you give an answer on what you would do. So the purpose of work keys, it used to be a state requirement for all juniors in the state of Alaska had to take it.
Oh, okay.
Other states have requirements for it. But then there's just too many standardized tests, and I sort of drop in some of these requirements. But when you take the work keys test, a lot of your like union labor shops, you'll want that, because what it does is if you do it properly and you train the kids before they take it, and so they understand like what kind of questions they're getting, they take the test, and then afterwards you can actually look at the results and you say, okay, here's the career clusters that you said you're interested in. And this career cluster, it's been identified that here's the areas you need to be really strong in.
Okay.
And so when you then compare the areas that they should be strong in and what their test said, and then you say, okay, well, here's what your test said your strong areas are, and here's some areas you need to work on. If this really is what you want to do, then we need to work on these following things to get you there. Nice.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be something we'd be very interested in. It sounds like something that we could accomplish here. Versus some of the other bigger, loftier things. I think everybody thought we would immediately get all these youth into apprenticeships, and I'm like, it's not working that way. We've got to get them excited about coming in the door.
Are you working with like Nelson and those guys down at Labor and Workforce Development on these?
I've got to meet everybody several times, but until I can get the youth in here that are even halfway prepared to have a discussion with them, I haven't ventured out, because the youth that we're currently serving just are not prepared. And so that's where we went and found the independent living skills, trying to encourage the youth to come out of their shells and start coming down here. And so, but definitely I do have them on speed dial. But
nice. Do you work with Nelson, or are you working with Adam?
I think Nelson's the one that I met.
Nelson, okay. Yeah, Nelson, he's the deputy commissioner, but like Adam is kind of like the workhorse over there.
Oh, okay. I'll call Adam.
But yeah, it's Adam Weinert.
Okay.
So he is a special assistant to the commissioner. So
yeah, no, that would be good. There were several of the commissioners that have been from Voc Rehab and all that have been wonderful. And I think we can become that agency, so that we could be a referral source for kids across the sites that would be able, you know, if we fit their need, whatever, we're in the right place of town, or, you know, they'd be more comfortable down here or in our smaller setting and things like that, but we're just not there yet. And
Okay.
I'm hoping we can get there, because we do have the one-offs, and that's the ones that come through the door that, you know, if we can catch them at the right place, the right time, and get them over there before they spend too much time downtown in this area. And
Okay.
that's kind of where we're trying to get things moving. But I will share, one of the things that has changed in the last 6 months for us is they've implemented a new case management program over at Covenant House, and it goes across that. So we have youth that are actually in our youth engagement shelter. We have about 40 youth there, and then we have like 150 that are actually in housing projects from some of the Housing First things. And so those are the ones we're focusing on now, to get them back through the door over here, so that we can make sure they stay housed and become successful. And
Okay.
so we built really fast in about 3 years, built all this infrastructure and got a whole bunch of kids housed that maybe weren't quite ready yet, you know, or are going to need continued support. And so that's where we're really trying to develop some robust services here, which is, yeah, it's just been an interesting ride, and but it's been a good one so far. So we're just going to keep building, but I definitely will get a hold of them.
Okay. Excellent.
That is something right up our lane. I'm looking for things that the youth can accomplish and feel accomplished, so that we could, you know, start building confidence and get them moving. Believe it or not, a lot of the youth that we have in the 40 in January, when I went through the population, and of course it's turned over since then, but the 40 that we had in the shelter, like 90% of them had their high school diplomas. And that was shocking to me. It was very good and exciting, but we just had to sort of retool and say, all right, how do we impact what we have now? We've got high school diplomas. And so we went for the independent living skills and just the relationship building, which is what we do down here.
Well, it's good for us to know that too, that they're having their diplomas, because one thing we're always looking at over here at ASD is, you know, yeah, great to have their diploma, but are we actually teaching them stuff that they need to know to succeed here and be successful in life? And if we're not, then we need to know that, and so we can make some changes.
Right, right. Well, I think, but to be frank with you, I think they did, and that's what showed me that the youth have more resistance. That a lot of them came from rural Alaska, and it's tough. I mean, that's no easy feat in some places to get your diploma and stay motivated and all of that. And they come here and they spend 2 or 3 years on the street, and we lose the motivation. And so I think the schools are doing really well when we can break through and bring the youth back, break through whatever cycle that they're in. They've got writing skills. They've got, I mean, so so far the ones we've been able to break through, they have the skills they need with those diplomas, for sure.
Okay, good.
It's just catching them between when they decide to either move to town, or they lose their housing, or I don't have to follow rules, you know, whatever the case may be. It's trying to back them up and get them restarted. So, but I was pleasantly surprised, because we don't have that same rate in the juvenile justice population, graduation rate that I saw in this population down here. So.
In fact, I am sorry to say this, but I often use those numbers when I'm pitching our CTE programs and making sure people are in CTE programs, because our numbers are, if you get into a CTE class and you take a CTE course and you get into a CTSO, which is like the clubs for the CTE classes, you have like a 99.7% chance of graduating and then going into the career field and then staying out of the criminal justice system.
Nice.
So that's like one of the things we push hardcore, and it's like one of our numbers, and like, otherwise here's your numbers. And so it is good to see that someone's taking care of those people. Like when I was in Hawaii, I had one of those contracts where after they got into the criminal justice system and then they served their time and they were coming out, I did all the training for you know, the transition houses and stuff like that, halfway houses.
Yeah, well, I am looking forward. I think that's why they actually hired me. I am looking forward to working with our DJJ partners, where I came from, because they can have some really good numbers. But what I'm struggling with, and if anybody has an opinion, feel free to call and let me know. But what I'm struggling is mixing those two populations. They're a tough mix, because they see the world a little bit different. So we've moved back a little bit to not doing the group settings and focused more on some of the individual, as not to keep them separated, but to keep it more individual and focused.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I look forward. I'll reach out to you for more information if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I can put my
Great.
there you go.
Thank you.
Heidi, thank you so much. How long have you been with Covenant House Alaska?
It'll be a year next month.
Okay.
Or this month. We're in October, a year this month. Big
Thank
change
you.
from working from the government.
Mhm. I will make sure to connect you with our director of communications and outreach, my direct supervisor, so that we can bring the resources that we have to your.
Great. Well, I'm just finishing the packet for the exemption for the ACPE certification.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I've been working with your coworker, I'm drawing a blank on his name, the project manager for that.
With ACPE?
Yeah, it'll come to me. Tyler?
Maybe Tyler.
Tyler.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
He is right behind the wall.
Oh, good.
Yes,
I'm gonna come
okay.
pounding on it with my in-person file.
Well, Heidi, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us, and please make sure to share the flyer, and I can distribute among our attendees.
Okay, perfect. I'll send it to you right now.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you. Goodbye,
much,
everyone.
and good luck. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.